Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. A few minutes late tonight, I had some technical difficulties, but I think I'm live now and I should grab my phone and just make sure that I am. There we go. And I can see that I'm live and that there are people joining me. That would be a good thing. Hopefully I am looking down. Anyway, so I'm here. Hopefully I'm live. Yes, I am live. That's perfect. Okay, so hopefully people are jumping on. Hey, Lynette, perfect. Yeah, I had some technical difficulties. My camera seems to be doing fuzzy things. Fuzzy things. It's fuzzy, and I'm not sure why. So I rebooted my machine at the last minute, and so hopefully it's better now. So tonight's the first night that I'm actually kind of switching up my mystery challenge. So I used to come on and do a traditional mystery challenge in my group, but I've decided to switch it up, and every other week, because I'm going to alternate with a technique, I'm going to present you with a challenge, a mystery challenge of sorts, where I'm going to give you what I'm going to be doing. So tonight it's a color challenge, and I am challenging you to make a card using, and I'm using Garden Green, Fresh Freesia, and Crumb Cake. And I know that not everybody will have all of those colors, or maybe any of those colors, and maybe it'll make you love these colors like I do. But use something as close as you have. And so the challenge is to make a card using whatever I challenge you to use. So tonight it's colors. Next time it might be make a card based on this picture or this sketch or something like that. So I'm going to switch it up, and we'll see how we go. So if you're in my Facebook group, I'd love for you to share your pictures or your pictures of your cards in there. Don't forget that at the end of every month, I give some prizes away. So for those that have shared, I do a draw from those that have shared over the course of the month. So hopefully if you're not in my group, feel free to join. The link is underneath this video, wherever you're coming from. If you are coming in from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you get notified when I go live or when I post a video. If you're coming in through Facebook, don't forget to give permission to StreamYard. The link is streamyard.com/Facebook, and that way I'll be able to see the comments. I can see somebody's come in through Facebook and said hello. I just can't see the name when I'm on camera using this application called StreamYard. All right, let's get started because I'm excited about this card. This is a card I am casing from a friend of mine who is part of the Creativity Abounds design team with me, Lorraine Tierney. She is from New Hampshire, I believe, in the United States. And she made a card and shared it as part of a blog hop I was in recently with her called a floating circle card. I think that's what she called it. Anyway, you'll see what I mean. So I am using the colors that I have challenged you to use: Garden Green, Fresh Freesia, and Crumb Cake. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and we will get started. All right, so here's the colors. Now, I don't know how well they show up on the camera. So Garden Green, Fresh Freesia, I love that combination together, and then Crumb Cake. Kind of springy, could be an Easter card. And then I'm using the Blessings of Home stamp set. Really, I'm just using a sentiment. And then I'm using the Flowers of Home dies. And of course, my dies are going to be all a mess, but you get the dies to cut out these two great stamps. Now these the images are 90% of what they are. So my dies are bigger than my images because the stamps inside are actually bigger. And then lots of great sentiments. And then you get these extra dies that kind of cut garlands and leaves, boughs, and then some flowers. I've already gone ahead and cut out some flowers that I'm going to be using, so I don't have all the dies here. So it's a really nice, pretty set. And this is a perfect stamp set to be coloring if you're into coloring with your Stampin' Blends. All right, let me bring in what I'm going to be using. Okay, so when I play along with challenges, color challenges for me are always the easiest because you can often find a piece of designer series paper that has the colors in it, or you can find a pretty piece of designer series paper that has one of the colors in it, and then you can combine them. So for this one, to be honest, when I created the color challenge, I didn't know what I was going to be using with it. So it wasn't until yesterday that I decided what I was going to do. So I am using a base. This is thick basic white cardstock, and I've cut it 4 1/4 by 11. I've scored it at 5 1/2, and I'm going to fold into the mountain. Great. So Sandy, the challenge is for you to make a card using these 3 colors. You don't have to follow my instructions, although this is going to go live in a blog tomorrow, so you can get the measurements on my blog tomorrow. But really the challenge is to use these 3 colors in a project: Garden Green, Fresh Freesia, and Crumb Cake. So I've got my thick basic white, scored it at 5 1/2, and that's my card base. Now I am using this really pretty, this is the Heart and Home designer series paper that coordinates with the Heart and Home suite, which is what this Blessings of Home is part of. There's actually 2 different stamp sets, 2 different bundles in this suite, and I'm using one of them. One side of the designer series paper is these pretty patterns, and the other side is all wood grain, in a gray wood grain. But I'm using, so this is Fresh Freesia. So on a color challenge, you don't have to use, for example, I'm not using a lot of Crumb Cake, and I'm using not a lot of the Garden Green. So I love this Fresh Freesia, so I'm just adding some colors with it. Okay, so that's my piece. Now my next layer is a piece of basic white, and this is cut, if I remember correctly, this is cut 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, and I have gone ahead, and I don't know that you can see that. That's really, oh, there we go. I've gone ahead and embossed it using the gingham embossing folder. This is an embossing folder that is in the current mini catalog. Oops, just about dropped that with the glue. So this is just going to go down on here. So again, you don't have to follow along and make this card, although it's a really great card that Lorraine created. So this is just going to adhere on here. So, okay, so now this is where the floating circle comes in. I have gone, and you can see I've gone ahead and cut a piece of window sheet. If you don't have window sheet, you could use basic white cardstock, but you want a piece of window sheet or basic white cardstock that is just slightly bigger than the second largest of the layering circles. So if you're going to do this floating circle, that's what you need, because we're going to cut this out. So now we're going to go ahead, and what you want to do is cut out 3 pieces of designer series paper that are 1/2 inch by about 4 inches, and 2 pieces. Now I've kind of cheated here. I've used 1 piece of designer series paper and 1 piece of cardstock that I have embossed, which you probably can't see. So I've embossed it using the same embossing folder. So what you want to do is just start layering these pieces on here. Now you don't want to use the liquid glue on this. You really want to use Stampin' Seal or tear and tape adhesive. It will adhere better to the window sheet than the liquid glue. So we're just going to go ahead and adhere these on somewhat randomly. I can pick them up. And mine are somewhat longer just because I just used a piece. Now you could use your grid paper actually to line them up if you want. And you do want a little bit of separation. So just about maybe 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch between. And again, somewhat randomly, but I'm using just different patterns of the designer series paper, and I tried to stick with ones that had the main pieces in. Couldn't find any with crumb cake, so therefore that's why I decided to use this piece that I've embossed of crumb cake, just to bring in the crumb cake color. Again, just spacing them so there's a little gap between them. Oops. And the last one I'm going to use the wood grain. Okay, so now I've got them on my window sheet. I'm going to take, and this is the second largest of the layering circle, and I'm going to run this through my embossing folder. Or sorry, not my embossing folder, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Not sure why. All right. Do that. And what it's going to do is cut out this circle. I have some glue, so of course it's sticking. There we go. All right, so now I have a circle like that. So this is why it looks like it's floating, because you actually, if you use basic white, it's not quite the same effect. But with this, it just looks like it's floating. So when this adheres onto here, it's going to look floating. And we're going to pop these up using, I'm going to use the adhesive foam strips. And we're going to just take and put a piece of the foam strip behind each of these strips, like that. You could use dimensionals. Again, if you're using window sheets, you want to make sure that you don't have, you don't see the foam strips behind it. So I'm just going to take and there we go. And just a little one along the bottom, I guess. I think I've ordered some more. Oops, that's too long. Some more of these foam strips. I'm almost out. There we go. All right. So now peel these off. So I'm excited to see what you guys make with these colors, because this is could be a great Easter card if you've got Easter thoughts on your mind. All right. You could put this either way. I think I'm going to put mine this way, only because, no, this way. There we go. There we go. Maybe that's better. I've got these flowers that are kind of going the wrong way, but that's all right. I'm going to put this in the middle like that. So now it looks like my pieces are floating, because really you're only seeing the window sheet behind it. Now it's time to decorate. So I've gone ahead and cut out some of these pieces. So these are some of the dies. So I've just gone ahead, and I'm not sure which of these I'm actually going to use, but I thought I would prepare and just get some cut already. So that's in green. That's in green. And some flowers in fresh freesia. That's in green. I've got some that are in crumb cake. So we're just going to decorate decorate these, cut out individual flowers. So we can, there we go, those 3 individual flowers. So I just thought what I would do is kind of do some decoration on here. And again, not sure how much. I probably am only going to use. Okay, let's use glue dots and just start putting these down. So again, when I've got a lot of these little bits, sometimes I'll just take a piece of the glue dots and then just start sticking my pieces on. One, it keeps them where I can find them because they're little and they go missing. So this just kind of keeps them in a spot that's handy. All right, I think I'm just going to start with these because that's probably enough. I don't want to cover up all of these lines. So we'll just do that. And that. Somewhere I had another one. See, I've already lost a piece. I had 2 of the crumb cake pieces, but I've already managed to lose that, but that's okay. All right, and then I've got these flowers that I am just going to take and kind of pop up here. Like that. And maybe like that. I could actually pop them up with dimensionals, but I'm going to just do that. And I forgot my rhinestones because I was going to use some rhinestones. Grab those. All right, so, and then the last thing that I need that I'm just going to grab, I've got a piece. I'm going to stamp this sentiment that says, "Thank you for inspiring me." I embossed my cardstock, my white cardstock. So I'm just going to stamp this on this piece and then cut it out, and we'll use that. We'll pop that up using dimensionals. Again, you can use a punch or a die, whatever you'd like. Oops. But as usual, I tend to fussy cut. Somebody told me this was addicting the other day. It is. I don't know. I just kind of instantly grab my paper snips. And some black dimensionals. Hopefully that doesn't show. Just put that there. And then let's take some of these rhinestones. I always end up using the big rhinestones. I don't know if you guys do, but I always end up, the big rhinestones go first for me. So I got multiple packages open because I run out of the largest size first. There we go. There we go. All right, now I probably need a sentiment. No, I know what I was going to do on the inside. Not a sentiment. I was going to stamp this really big, one of the larger, the second largest flower in garden green, just on the inside, and then we'll leave lots of room for writing a sentiment. So we'll just stamp that like that. All right, so there's my card that uses, and then the colors again, garden green, fresh freesia, and crumb cake. And I can't wait to see what you guys create. Oh, that's funny, Sandy, that you use the smaller ones first. I don't know why I always go for the larger ones or the medium ones, and you get way more of the smaller ones in the package. I'll have to switch it up. Yeah, I really like that card, and I really loved it when I saw Lorraine's card. She used the flowering tulips or flowering fields designer series paper for hers. It was so pretty, and I thought that's a great card. And so I asked her permission if I could actually share it and then share it on the blog hop that I'm doing tomorrow, because I just wanted to make sure she was okay with me casing her card, because it was such a pretty card. So if you're in my Facebook group, don't forget to share your cards using these colors. Remember, if you don't have these colors or any of the some of these colors or all of these colors, just make a card using green, purple, and kind of beige, like a crumb cake. I probably all have crumb cake. But make a card and share it, because I will be doing a draw at the end of the month on my Facebook group if you share your card. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy this new mystery challenge. I just love to create with you. So therefore, I decided to switch it up from my normal mystery. But I will throw in some of the traditional mysteries where I just give you clues once in a while. So next week, I will be doing technique. So I'll do the mystery on the alternate weeks. I will be live on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific with another card to make with you, and then at 12 noon Pacific on Sunday. So I hope you'll join me on my Facebook group. Don't forget, you can join my group. The link is underneath this video if you're not a member of my group already. Or you can follow on my page, or you can subscribe on my YouTube channel. Lots of ways to follow me on social media. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Happy stamping.